Hello, everyone, and welcome to our final speech. The topic I have chosen is the legalization of marijuana, the pros and cons. What is our current situation? Currently, our situation is the fact that marijuana is essentially legal in several states, as some of you know, such as Colorado, California. Um, Marijuana is not taxed in its current legal form, in the form of sale tax, which is stating that in the states that it is not legal, there's no taxes on marijuana as of right now. The possession of marijuana is considered a misdemeanor at this point in time, based on the amount of marijuana a person is carrying. For instance, people that are carrying more than, let's say, what's considered 1 gram of marijuana, that would be considered a felony offense, and they could go to jail for a considerably large amount of time. Um, Areas around the world with marijuana legislation. Now, what we're going to focus on here is the blue areas. You have the light blue and the dark blue. The light blue is what shows what is currently legal or decriminalized. And right here it shows you have California, Colorado, a few other states. You have some places overseas that is currently legal as far as when it comes to smoking marijuana, the selling of marijuana through a legal form. What is the pro argument of marijuana? All right, the medical benefits of marijuana, as far as we know, you have the proponents cite that can be the uses of marijuana can be effective treatments for the symptoms of cancer, AIDS, multiple sclerosis, glaucoma, and even epilepsy. Um, there's videos that have been proven that marijuana actually calms seizures. This has all been scientifically proven. Don't believe me? You can look it up. The California Medical Association, which represents over 30,000 physicians, have now endorsed the Proposition 19 and the legalization of marijuana. The uses of marijuana in the treatment of medical conditions. If you look right here, marijuana focuses on chronic pain, which obviously comes from the back of the neck and through the brain, any type of chronic pain, which you can honestly feel it anywhere. But this picture kind of represents where marijuana can kind of hit. Um, Multiple sclerosis, chronic pain, ALS, ice disease, HIV, hypertension, sleep apnea, um, diabetes, hepatitis C, fibromyalgia, Alzheimer's, multiple different aspects of the body that marijuana can be beneficial to. This chart right here shows the number of vomiting and retaching episodes for 15 chromotherapy receiving cancer patients under placebo and the marijuana treatments. Um, right here is the subject number, which shows the actual people that went through this test. Um, People that underwent marijuana and placebo, right here is the differences. These are the people that suffered through vomiting and having retaching episodes. People that smoked marijuana, only 15 went through vomiting versus placebo, 13. And then subject number 2 had 25 versus 50, and so on and so forth. As y'all look through right here, obviously, all the patients has have better outcomes with the marijuana. This is comparing the dangers of the popular drug. You have nicotine, which is from cigarettes, chewing tobacco, anything like that. You have heroin, cocaine, alcohol, caffeine, and then marijuana, which is in last place. Um, this right here shows what is the most serious and the less serious. Obviously, marijuana and caffeine is right at the bottom. Caffeine is just like coffee. Um, Marijuana, obviously, it's not a serious drug versus alcohol, cocaine, heroin, or nicotine. It's less addictive. It actually shows very low addiction rates. Another pro argument. Um, Taxes to provide revenue for the state. Competitive pricing within marijuana market will generate revenue for new business, regulation will be very strict among consumers as to keep abusers in check and the production for the private sector. Basically saying that the marijuana business is a very good business to get into. It'll be more money for the state. There'll be less risk of, people going to jail over marijuana and certain things like that because it will be legal. Another pro argument, basically, well, I did some research about this. Economist Jeffrey Marin published a study for economic benefits of marijuana legalization. The report estimates that legalizing marijuana would save $7.7 billion per year in government spending on enforcement of prohibition. The study reflects the impacts on marijuana alone and excludes the enforcement policies of other drugs. Marion estimates that legalizing marijuana could save $7.7 billion per year on marijuana enforcement. $5.3 billion of this savings would fund other state and local budgets. $2.4 billion would return back to the federal government. This is basically saying that if marijuana became legal, we would also have not only more money for the state, but you will have more higher companies. We will have more money worldwide and nationwide to treat different things such as treatment and prevention, domestic law enforcement, interdiction. You would treat everything. This chart right here shows the national drug control budget. So you would end up saving a whole lot more money just by making marijuana legal. Another pro argument. The report also estimates that marijuana legalization would yield tax revenue of $2.4 billion annually if marijuana were taxed like all other goods, and $6.2 billion annually if marijuana were taxed at the rates comparable to those in tobacco and alcohol. Basically, America would be rich. So that's another pro argument about marijuana. What is the study on revenues estimates at creating a state-regulated marijuana market? Per day, this is an average price per joint. If per day a joint was $5, we could sell an average of $27 billion just off of a $5 blunt if marijuana was legal, statewide and or nationwide. Another pro argument: the regulation of marijuana will be strict enough to equate the consumption of marijuana that would be of tobacco and alcohol. The state will regulate and tax the products, making it more likely that the industry will be privatized. Legalization has also stated that the production of marijuana must abide by the same rules and procedure of alcohol and tobacco. Driving under the influence, states and fines should also be increased to deter accidents and drug-related injuries. What this is saying is, as of right now, there's no specific way that a person can be tested as to how much drugs is in their system, and that by it being legal, by marijuana being a drug, it would have to be legal under the same circumstances of alcohol and tobacco. Of course, you have to be a certain age to buy it and undergo certain type of tests and different things like that just to buy marijuana. Another pro argument: benefits of creating new hemp industry, and also creates a new market resulting in new jobs. Very beneficial because it will also open up many new jobs for people that struggle to find jobs. So very beneficial to those who need a job. This chart right here shows the different ways that you can use weed and or THC, cannabis, which is all considered the drug marijuana. Marijuana contains THC, which can be used in a oil. Which can be used in foods, which is very beneficial to those that cannot smoke it. For those that have chronic illness and cannot really smoke, they can bake it in their food. And here is another chart as to the amount of seizures the amount of seizures law enforcement spends on marijuana activity. This chart will obviously decrease if marijuana became legal. This is the marijuana arrest rates from 1980 to 2008. And then now we're going to get into the con arguments. One of the major con arguments is marijuana in its current state has a high profit margin, roughly selling at $8.60 per half gram, roughly produced at $1.70 per half gram. Farmers will be enticed to produce this crop, could affect the price of other crops. Basically, all this is saying is that the farmers may lose money in this because a lot of people would be focused on marijuana, but in a way that could not be true because, you know, farmers grow food. Weed is known to make people hungry, so people got to eat. So it's, at the end of the day, it's kind of a chain of effects. Another con is intoxicated driving. Some people cannot drive while under the influence of marijuana, but there's also no way to test the intake of marijuana. There's no way to tell if somebody was high at the time that they were driving. Another con is basically that you can get secondhand smoke, which is involuntary for the young people. Of course, there will be some people that is going to buy the marijuana and then still want to smoke, but it can go off secondhand to the children. Right here is a chart of the people who actually go through secondhand smoke, and the biggest ages is between 12 and 19. So that's one con about it. I feel like at the end of the day, you should be a certain age in order to determine if you decide to smoke marijuana. Another con argument is that people can use it as a gateway drug versus for actual medical reasons, just like a cigarette or something like that. The conclusion is the taxation or regularization of marijuana is totally in the best interest of the Republic from an economic perspective. However, this comes at a cost of potential danger to the public. Marijuana has been proven to ease the pain of chronically ill and even rid some of seizure. In the end, my personal opinion is that marijuana should be legal but undergo very strict precautions. That is my citation page, and that is all I have to say today about marijuana. Feel free to go back and look through everything that I have in my slides. I didn't quite have enough time to go through everything, but I hope you guys enjoy. I understand everyone has their own personal opinions about marijuana, but this is all based on my opinions and the research that I have found. Thank you, and y'all have a great day.